United States Air Force Office of Special Investigations, defending the nation, serving justice, protecting the integrity of the Air Force, finding the truth. The men and women of Air Force OSI are reaching a new level of sophistication. We are a federal law enforcement agency that identifies, exploits, and neutralizes criminal, terrorist, and intelligence threats to the Air Force, Department of Defense, and the United States government. Our breadth of mission is vast, from criminal investigations to counterintelligence. Our special agents are on the front line at home and around the globe.
We just do great investigation. We investigate sexual assault, we investigate drugs, fraud, death investigations, the gamut, really. Our focus is on active duty military personnel, but a lot of times our criminal investigations lead us to civilian personnel as well. Sexual assault investigations are probably the hardest cases that we investigate. They're very complex, they're personal, private investigations. A lot of times they are clouded with misinformation, conjecture, biases, and our job really is to identify the facts, to sort the facts out, and provide those facts to the commander so that they can make the appropriate decisions on the offender and to get the victim back being a productive member of the United States Air Force.
Counterintelligence in itself is not just operational, it's investigative as well. Unlike other investigations where you may have a crime scene, you know DNA, fingerprints, you have the known factor. In counterintelligence, you don't know. You don't know how that one individual is being controlled by the adversary. You don't know how, in the initial aspects, you don't know how the adversary received that information, was able to get that information. The days of traditional counterintelligence and human intelligence are gone. Everything that you're trying to do, whether stateside or abroad, you have to be 2 or 3, 10 steps ahead of what you think you're going to be facing.
Our primary focus is to do cyber threat pursuit. You have these groups of highly trained, very sophisticated, often state-sponsored, advanced persistent threat teams that are interested in filling intelligence or information gaps. To fill those gaps, they look at networks and obtaining that information through those networks as the best way to do it cheap. When one of those sophisticated group conducts an intrusion against DoD entity or a body that's interested or supports the Air Force, we're able to go out to those entities and start pursuing and countering those sophisticated teams. People think of cyber as a bunch of kind of nerds sitting behind a keyboard plugging away all day. In reality, that is just a small fraction of what we're actually doing. We're talking to industry partners. We're working with other government agencies. We use these relationships to go out and talk to the actual victim of the intrusion and to gather our data that way. And that makes us very unique.
Fraud is about deception. It's lying, cheating, and stealing. And as a fraud investigator, that's what we do. We go after people who lie, cheat, and steal from the government, from the Air Force. The government, they believe sometimes they have deep pockets, and a lot of times
The Office of Special Investigations.
they want a piece of
Issue
it.
a subpoena for one of your bank customers.
Our job is to make sure that the Air Force gets what they pay for. We recover money, literally millions of dollars a year are recovered from fraudulent activities. We indict people and we put them in jail.
The expeditionary mission of OSI is definitely one of a global presence. We do all the same capabilities and functions that we do stateside, but in a deployed environment with a little bit of a twist. We're still conducting those criminal investigations, those fraud investigations to protect the Air Force and DoD assets and resources. But the flavor overseas is more that warfighter mentality. It's keeping the airfield green, protecting the airfield from an outside threat. And typically this is done through counterintelligence operations and counter-threat operations, which support that air-based ground defense that you typically pair with a security forces type mission. Probably the most rewarding part of the expeditionary mission is just the ops tempo. And really over a 6 to 12 month period, just seeing how much you can accomplish in such a short amount of time. There's that 100% focus on the mission itself, taking away all of the static and really just getting down to the bare bones mission and doing a job to support the Air Force and the warfighters.
I think what's unique about the PSO mission is that OSI is the lead PSO for multiple HRPs, high-risk principals, or principals. They are the lead for Secretary of the Air Force, Chief of Staff of the Air Force. They're also the lead for foreign dignitaries that come to the U.S. We're also primary on NORTHCOM Commander, STRATCOM Commander, TRANSCOM Commander, COMU SAFE, and then we also have protective security advisors in the CENTCOM AOR to about 4 or 5 principals. You know, with that being said, you know, the recognition that you see, they're really unique because they're dealing with all aspects of DoD pretty much.
As a proactive step to ensure a cohesive, single coordination point for OSI and our federal and international law enforcement partners, we created the Investigations, Collections, and Operations Nexus.
We're able to look at reporting from across the U.S. Government. We're able to engage with our foreign partners and help to identify new data sets that would help us to identify patterns, pieces of information that agents on the ground may not have access to, that we can then provide that to them and enable them to do their jobs better.
OSI's mission is carried out by more than 250 field units, consisting of more than 3,000 military and civilian personnel worldwide. Our federal and international law enforcement partnerships span the globe and are invaluable to OSI's many mission successes.
Everywhere in the world where the U.S. Air Force is at, there are OSI agents who are charged with that mission of dealing with those foreign law enforcement and security elements in order to advance our mission and to protect Air Force assets and personnel.
Headquartered in Quantico, Virginia, Air Force OSI is composed of 8 regions: the Office of Special Projects, the Office of Procurement Fraud, and the United States Air Force Special Investigations Academy, located at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia.
We believe that performance starts here at the United States Air Force Special Investigations Academy. So we're chartered to take civilians, officers, NCOs from other career fields and turn them into special investigators. Our instructors are what really makes us sophisticated. So we bring experienced agents from the field. They're all volunteers, they're all handpicked, they're all vetted, and they come here to bring their experience, to bring their knowledge, because they want to invest and create a new generation of agents.
USAFCIA's tradition of providing outstanding, flexible, and responsive training in support of OSI remains strong. Our partnership with the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center has afforded the command access to unmatched facilities, expert instruction, and greater opportunities for enhanced training.
We have agents that have done extensive drug operations, agents who have done a lot of counterintelligence, fraud, that sort of thing. And we bring all of these subject areas together so that we don't have a situation where you're jack of all trades and a master of none. You have subject matter experts here that can lend their ideas and their experiences to the classroom.
Are you Air Force OSI material? The Air Force Office of Special Investigations, reaching a new level of sophistication, remaining a trusted global investigative agency and a reliable and indispensable partner. We are synchronized with a shifting strategic environment to enable and protect the Air Force of the 21st century.